Fantastic.
Okay.
So, oh my God, you look so amazing at like 10 p.m. in the evening. I don't know if I could look like that at 10 p.m. in the evening.
You look amazing at 10 a.m. New York time.
Thank you. So how have you been?
Very good. So we've just here in the Philippines, it's quite different from the rest of some parts of the world. We're in what you call an enhanced community quarantine, which means we're not allowed to go out. There's no public or private transport, and with each household, only one person can leave at a time to go to the groceries, the bank, or just essentials basically. And they give you a quarantine pass. So you need to hold on to that pass when you go out, because if they check you, you have to be able to, show it. So it's pretty intense here. I feel like we don't have as much cases as New York or the US, but we also can't have that as much as you guys, because we won't be able to handle it. So we
won't be able to. Yeah, it's much different, like you said, here in New York, because people are still actually walking on the streets. I'm still able to walk on the streets and to buy something, or to walk to the park and to jog and to do all of that. So yeah, it's quite different here. But South Africa has a lockdown as well. They're only allowed to go out if they have to go buy essentials, if they have to go to the doctor. So they also have to have notes. I think if you're going to work, you have to have a note on you that says you absolutely have to be at work. If not, otherwise everyone is on lockdown. They are on day 5 of lockdown now. So it's quite intense. But I know that you're working on something to help out. So would you like to tell us about that? I'm so excited. You posted about it and I saw it, but maybe a lot of people didn't see it.
So here, we've been in quarantine. Well, here in the Philippines, you can call it quarantine because that's what the government is calling it. So we are in quarantine, and it's been like this for, I think, just over 2 weeks now. So it's been a while. So we just decided one day, I was working out and I just decided, like, what can we do? Like, is there anything we can do, or is there any way we can help without, physically leaving your home? So I got in contact with a few suppliers, and I got I tried to find the cheapest I could find at that time. So I found one, and I ordered an initial order myself. I ordered not for myself, but from myself. I ordered 5,000 pieces first, because you buy them by the thousands now, and that's how you can get them for cheaper as well. So I got 5,000 first, and then I got it the next day. I realized that if I had more, or if I could get more people to help me out with this, then I'll be able to buy more masks, and then we'll be able to distribute more. Exactly. So then that's why we started this little fundraising campaign that I'm doing online. Guys, if you have the time and if you're able to, if you can, check out the link that I provided in my bio, and I also have it on one of my stories and one of my posts. It's there, like I've scattered it everywhere, where they can view the Go Get Funding page. They can send some donations through PayPal. I've also provided a BDO bank account and a GCash, if that's easier for some people. So basically what it will do is, our goal is to be able to acquire 25,000 face masks, surgical masks. These are N98 masks that our frontliners in hospitals can use. Actually, Zoe, today I was already able to distribute 5,000 to 4, split evenly.
That is incredible.
To 4 hospitals in different cities, and then I have 1,900 on hand, but I'm still trying to put more, so then I don't have to keep going out. I mean, I'm not doing it myself because I'm still in my 2-week self-quarantine.
Out there. But I mean, I absolutely love that you're doing that, because I do feel when you have so many followers, it's nice that you see it as a responsibility to use your platform, you know, to help others and to spread this positivity and light as well. And I think that's just, you know, incredible. Following on what you said, you know, a Miss Universe with a heart, I absolutely love that. You meant it. Even many years later, you're still living it, and I love to see it. I know you also told people about the World Health Organization response fund as well. What I've been telling people where to go onto their Instagram, to go onto their website, where they can find details on how to donate, because it's difficult that we actually cannot go out there in person and try to help people. But we are so fortunate to be living in digital times, because we're able to help sitting from our couches, sitting from our beds. So it's nice to know that people cannot feel hopeless in trying to. So it's fantastic that you're doing what you're doing, and I'm hoping people will visit your page and actually go to donate money for these masks, and they can go to the World Health Organization Fund as well to help. We appreciate your help so much, Queen. Thank you. I'm sure the people of Manila appreciate it so much.
Of course. You know, aside from being able to donate, for those who can't, for those who don't have enough or can't donate but want to help, you know, I really think this hashtag Universe United is so useful, because then it's a place where, you know, people can talk to each other and just share stories with each other, right? What have you seen so far? Any interesting stories you've seen so far?
It's so interesting. I love the workout videos that people have been sending. Firstly, they're helping me a lot, because people are working out, and hashtag, you know, Universe United, because like you said, you don't have to be financially helpful, but just by being there and showing people that we are united, that we are one, and for people to know that we're actually not going through this alone, but the whole world is trying to pull through together. So I've been seeing a lot of videos, inspirational videos of people, you know, telling people that we're going to get through it. I love those. Like I said, workout videos as well, fantastic. I don't work out much. I'm actually horrible at working out and gym, but you know, seeing those, that it pushes me as well to be able to take care of my health a little better. So it's an incredible platform. It has helped me to, you know, stay off the internet looking at things that don't matter, but to actually look at the positive side of the internet and seeing that we are together, that people are communicating and people are alive. And that's my favorite part about, you know, creating this virtual community. I absolutely love it. So
I think it's an amazing idea. It's an amazing idea, because you don't know what other people are going through. And it's, you know, it's interesting to know how different people from different parts of the world are coping, because we're all going through the same things, but then differently.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's made me realize that we are more alike than different, because we like to think the human race is so different, because there's so many races, there's so many cultures, and we like to subgroup ourselves. But if anything, this has shown me that we're more alike than different. You know, we are the human race first before we are anything else. And I love to see it coming out of this platform and this hashtag.
It's amazing. Yeah.
When I last saw you in Indonesia, I was so sad, because you weren't staying much longer. Because I remember meeting you, and you were like, "Oh, I'm leaving like in 2 days or in a day's time," and I thought that we would meet. And then I went onto your profile, and I saw that you were doing something with HIV and AIDS. And I remembered, you know, that's your platform. That's what you said you wanted to help with, and you still are helping with that. And I've always known that there's a link between, you know, HIV and AIDS and gender equality or gender inequality. And that's what I advocate for. And I think speaking to you saw an opportunity to sort of try to connect the two, and to speak to people and to see, you know, how those two come together. Because I'll say this, I remember I had a project for school, and I had to go and research, and I came across such an interesting article where they said that girls in sub-Saharan Africa, because I was working on a project on that those young girls are 8 times likely to get HIV than the boys, and that as they grow up to be older, between the ages of 18 and 24, they're still 2.5 times getting more HIV cases of women than men. And I wondered, why is that? You know, it was interesting to me. And so I went back to it a couple of days ago when I found out I was going to be speaking to you. And I was like, I need to go research more on it and actually find out why. And I found interesting facts. I found out that it was because of lack of access to health care for girls. I found out that it was because of lack of access to education. It was because of child marriages, because of poverty. I mean, if you're not educated about something, you don't know about how it works. And so we know that there's a lot of countries where young girls are still not allowed to go to school. We have people like Malala who are fighting for young girls to get an education. We're still fighting today. And we see those links. Do you see the link between teaching people? Because I know working with HIV, you've been sort of teaching people and educating them about, you know, the virus and how we can educate ourselves better, young girls as well. Do you?
Yeah, definitely. Which is really timely because this is what UNAIDS wants to highlight for this year, is highlighting gender inequality, especially it's still March. Well, it's still March in the Philippines. So focusing more on women and children, actually. And why is it that like what you mentioned, that there are like still a lot of cases where women and children are are living with HIV. And I think like you were spot on when you mentioned that it's number one because of not getting access to proper health care.
Yeah.
That's number one, I think. And then of course education, not educating the people enough about how they can take care of themselves, how they can protect themselves, just going about it, like what they can do. And so I think it's really lack of healthcare and lack of education. Those are the things. I mean, I feel like I still see it, even, you know, I still see it in different parts of the world. And it's very, in different parts of the world, it's still there. I feel like we need more people like you to talk openly about it so people are aware. I feel like with so much going on these days, we're forgetting about other important issues, and this is something like really important. I don't feel like people really connect women and children or gender inequality to HIV and AIDS as much as they should.
As much as
there's definitely a connection between the two.
Well, definitely is. I mean, you can even look at things like child marriages. In 2020, there's still parts of the world where minors are forced to get married to elderly men. I mean, as a minor who hasn't had access to education, you cannot, you know, protect yourself. We have things like gender-based violence as well, where women and young girls are constantly abused and raped and, you know, catching the virus as well.
Yeah.
So definitely like a huge link there. And like you said, it's a responsibility to us, to people who have a voice, to people who have a platform, to not be afraid to speak of these things, because usually people are scared of speaking the truth. Especially if it's not popular opinion, you're scared that people don't want to hear it. But, you know, it is a responsibility, because I think awareness is the first step to social change. And I feel like the louder we scream, the more people hear us. And so that's why I said I love that even today after Miss Universe, you are still using your platform to highlight these issues, to speak about them. And I'm happy that today we're able to actually sit and connect the two, because it's something that has to be done more. People need to see that, you know, there's something there. I always say when we're gender equal, even economy thrives. You know, even economy thrives of the country. We should look at it in so many aspects. It's not only just for women, but it's for the whole nation. It's for the whole world globally to actually function and to move better.
Yeah. Well, no, I think it's amazing that you're doing this and you're highlighting this, especially during your reign as Miss Universe. This is something that a lot of people should know and should be aware of. And you're definitely right with awareness being the number one thing. Like, when you won, actually, like I was, like, this is real talk. When you won, I was so excited, and I'm not lying, I cried. Like, I was tearing up when you won, because I really felt like you had a voice and you had a message that just needed to be heard. And we're all still learning. I feel like I'm still, even though I'm advocating for HIV and AIDS, I still feel like I'm a student, and I'm learning, still learning every day. I can't say I'm an expert, but I keep learning and I keep trying. And talking to you, for example, is really so helpful, because then it gives me more things to think about. And it just really helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I don't know if you caught a couple of questions in there. But
okay.
When we were on the Miss Universe page, I did ask people for questions, and I think we forgot to do it here. But I'm hoping people did submit questions for us to try and answer. So I'm hoping we can take those, if you can see them. People
okay.
People are just complimenting your beauty, Pia. Of course she is. Of course she is.
Well, I don't want to drop you.
I love someone just said there, women are always cheerleaders, even if they didn't get an education. Which is absolutely true in a way, you know. Women have always been in the front line of doing incredible things, whether or not they've had education or not. Which is why I feel if they do have education, they have so much to achieve. Imagine equipping a woman with education. Then, you know, they do more. Someone says, what are the ideas to stay connected to our friends and family?
Well, I feel like a lot of people are doing this right now, where they're just video calling each other. They can't come near each other because of social distancing. I don't know. So what are your tips, Zozi? Like, how do you feel like people can connect?
You know what? I feel like the only way we can connect right now, especially to people across the world, is taking advantage of social media, taking advantage of the internet, which is so unfortunate because a lot of people don't have access. There's people in parts of the world that don't have access to the internet, and you know, it breaks my heart that they can't. And I'm really, you know, sending my prayers and love to the people, because, you know, everyone needs their family. Yeah. But definitely just video calls and everything works much better.
Yeah. Yeah, video calls. I feel like also if we watch too much of the news, it can also be kind of a bad thing, because it'll overwhelm you and make you paranoid, right?
It makes people so anxious. It makes me so anxious.
Yeah,
I mean, it's okay to be informed, because I do go on the news just to see the status of where we are. But like, don't constantly stay in there, because it will make you super anxious. Do you guys have questions about gender equality, about HIV and AIDS? You know, like Pia said, we're still students ourselves. We're still learning about these things. We're not experts, but we can all have this conversation together. So
so I'm gonna try to go through some of them. Oh, so have you ever been to Manila, to the Philippines?
No, I have never been to the Philippines, and it makes me so sad that I haven't been yet. I guess what's happening right now. So that's sad.
Well, once all of this is over, once all of this is over, we'll bring you around.
Are you inviting me, Pia? Will you invite me to the Philippines?
Oh, we will welcome you with open arms. You know we love Miss Universe. We love Miss Universe over here.
Okay, so I'm trying to get other people to scout questions for me as well. Questions about HIV and gender equality. We're here to help discuss about that.
Okay, so while we're looking for questions, I just wanna rave about it again, about how awesome your Q&A was at Miss Universe. I keep replaying it, and this is real talk. Like, I'm real talk. no lie, I keep replaying it, and every time I do, especially when you said something about like your you want them, you want the kids to see themselves in you. Yeah, to see themselves in you. That was so good. That was so good.
And you know, that is so when people ask me about that question, they think in the moment I was speaking about, you know, young Black girls to see their faces reflected in mine. But I think it's much more than that. It extends more than color. It means people who feel like they're different, people who feel like they shouldn't be in certain spaces. So you don't have to be, you know, black or white or blue or whatever to feel that way. Because I think we've all felt like we don't belong in spaces at some point. And, you know, I was hoping that would send the message. Okay, someone asked if I could give a broader perspective about gender equality, you know, because people try to understand what it is. I just got a question. I'm looking at questions on my phone. The simplest way really to describe gender equality is, you know, getting to a space where all genders are equal. And a common mistake that people like to make, Pia, is that they think when we say gender equal, we mean the same. They think we're saying men and women and all genders should be the same. And that's not what I'm saying, because there's different strength in our different ways. You know, women are a certain way and men are a certain way, but we're both strong in the way that we are. What I'm saying is we should be equal. We should be considered equal. We should be given the same opportunities, because, I mean, you look into the world and you see that men are still getting paid more money than women whilst they're doing the same work, which is wrong. Like, why is that still happening? We look at households where women are not allowed to have a voice. Why is that still happening? So when we speak of gender equality, we speak of a world where, you know, there's no gap between the two, where men and women's opinions are equal. Wherever gender's opinion is equal, because, you know, people are gender fluid these days. There's not just two genders. We don't have male, female. We have people in between those spectrums, you know. Those people matter too. Their opinions matter as well. And so that's what we speak of when we speak of gender equality, getting to a world where all our voices are heard in the same way. So I hope I answered the question.
I just want to share, my last trip was in Jakarta earlier this month. For UNAIDS, and that was one of the topics that we were talking about, because they wanted to highlight also during my visit, they wanted to highlight trans women and them not getting access to healthcare. And I think that's happening in like many parts of the world, where they're unable to get the same healthcare as us. Like, why not?
Why not? Exactly. It's quite, that's why I said, you know, all genders, everyone, humanly possible. If you are a human being, then you should be considered the same. You should be on the same platform, and we shouldn't be fighting for, you know, being equal. And it's so sad. They say we have about 108 years or something before we can all be equal. And that is like the most ridiculous thing. Exactly. It's 108 years. And I'm like, but why? Why can't we make it faster? Why can't people wake up soon and realize that the world will thrive so much better when everyone who lives on it is equal, you know? But,
you know, I hope that a lot of this can... I hope a lot of this... Yeah, go ahead.
Someone says, how do you face negativity? Like, how do you handle negative talk from naysayers and, I guess, haters, they say?
You know, honestly, like, I think people sometimes forget that we're only human. And even though you're a Miss Universe and you won a title at some point in time, that you are somehow superwoman and you'll never get offended, you never feel bad, you never get sick, you never get tired, you never get hurt. And I feel like people need to realize that we're also human, and of course some words hurt, of course some things hurt there, but what I do is I just try to tell myself that the only people that, or the only opinions that should matter to me are from people that are important to me or people who matter to me. I try to focus on just on my on getting getting positivity from my friends, my mentors, my family, from my sisters like you. You know, just try to surround yourself with good people. Those voices are always going to be there. Unfortunately, that's a part of life. You don't have to be a Miss Universe to have bashers. Everybody has bashers. Everybody will have negativity coming their way. But you just have to remember to stop looking at it, stop focusing on it, and focus on the good that you have instead. It's easier said than done.
But for your sanity, it has to be done. I agree. Okay, so someone, thank you for that, Pia. Someone asked, do you think the government has done enough during the crisis? I think governments across the world are doing as much as they can to help, because no one saw this coming. Nobody knew that we would be where we are. And I think everyone is trying their hardest. But I always say, sometimes you don't have to be the government to govern. What I mean by that is that it's up to all of us. It's up to all of us. The government has done their part. And now it's up to us to do our part as well by listening to the laws that the government set forward, by listening to the laws that healthcare people are putting forward. It doesn't just have to be a governmental thing. It has to be an us thing as well. Because I think now more than ever is the time for us to be as selfless as much as possible, to think about the next person as much as possible. You know, we need to be a team now more than ever. So listen.
That's true. That's very true.
Don't fight, when they tell you to not go out. Don't force yourself to go out if you don't have to. Stay home, wash your hands, keep the distance that they tell you to keep. So I think the government is doing what they can, and it's up to us to do what we can. So
I agree. Nobody really saw this coming, and no country was ever prepared because nobody was prepared. Even the most powerful or the biggest countries, or like other than the Philippines, nobody was prepared. So I feel like it's not enough. There's so much more that we could be doing. But I see what the government has been doing already and what they've already done. I see that too, but I also think that there could be more. Yeah, and that's just me, because I'm thinking. It's different from.
Also, it's different. It depends on what country we're speaking about. There's absolutely countries doing more than other countries are doing. So it's quite a difficult one to comment on, because there's different countries, there's different leaders, there's different rules.
That's true.
But I absolutely hear you. I understand what you're saying 100%.
Also, another thing is, I know that a lot of us spend a lot of our times indoors now. For those who can, we're all indoors and we're glued to our phones, watching the news and, reading and getting overwhelmed with everything. And sometimes that anxiety and that anger, you don't have like an outlet for it anymore. So then you just fight each other and you pick on the littlest things, and then it just becomes mayhem on social media. So I just want to remind everybody as well that I know that we have our opinions, and sometimes we feel very strongly about it, and that's okay. But I want to remind people to be kind to each other also, especially during this time, because we're all going through the same things. And even though we may feel like, for example, maybe the government's not doing enough, or maybe, you want to demand mass testing, or maybe you see it outside and people are not following the quarantine. Whatever your reason is, there's a right way of voicing out your opinions without trying to kind of pull each other down, if you get what I mean.
Everyone is going through it. All going through it. So to remember to be kind is a very important note. Absolutely. I think we've even went over our time here. We went over.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I think because we're enjoying so much, it's like such an important chat to be having, especially during this time. And I'm so happy that you could join me on this live, even though there was technical difficulties in the beginning and we ended up being on your live. I think the most important thing is that the message came across, regardless of which platform we use. It was important for people to listen and actually hear what we have to say. And I hope that you continue using your platform to do these incredible things that you're doing to inspire everyone, you know, not just women, but young boys and men as well, you know, to try to be better people, to try to do better constantly, and continue doing great and inspiring, Pia. We love you.
Thank you. Thank you, Zozi. And I can't wait to see all the amazing things you're going to do this year. I know some things have been put on hold at the moment, but
which is so sad, but safety first.
I know. I know, but your reign as Miss Universe is not on hold. You are Miss Universe, and we love you. We're excited to see all the amazing things that you're going to do. I'm most especially excited because I am a fan of you. Like, real talk. And I love your platform. I love everything that you stand for. And we're excited to welcome you to the Philippines when we're ready.
Yes,
whenever
please. I cannot wait to get to the Philippines. Like, you don't even understand. It's so crazy. I would love to be there.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
Zozi. Say hi to Chesley for me.
I definitely will say hi to her. She's somewhere in there. I stole her room because she has the better lighting than my room. So I stole her room. She's somewhere out there, poor girl. But thank you so much. I have to go now. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining
go ahead.
Live.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. Hopefully you can join us next time on the Miss Universe page when we have better connection. And so you'll save that video and we will grab it from you, Pia.
No problem.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You look beautiful.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.